Hello and welcome to the Creatives in Focus podcast, the podcast where we share real conversations with creatives and founders who are passionate about impact and change. I am Victoria Bola Okerinde, your host. On this podcast, we discuss the journey to excellence and creating for impact. This is episode 32. I hope you've had a great week so far. The sun is shining today and wow, I hope you've had a great time to bask in the sun, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. I have had a break in the season. I do apologize. It's not something that I mentioned prior to going on break, but we have been very active on socials. So I had our social media intern, Arabella. We've been doing some great work on Instagram, and she took over for a week for International Women's Day. And yeah, we've also been running a giveaway, and that is still running cast. And okay, today is with great excitement that I'm sharing this conversation with you. Our next guest is an amazing individual with an infectious positive energy. I had the chance to speak to Bisi Akins. Wow, she is a global presenter, a host, a model, an influencer, and social entrepreneur. As a presenter, you would have seen Bisi presenting and providing international coverage on events such as Afro Nation in Ghana and Portugal. She has also hosted several events for Terrence Higgins Trust and the Commonwealth Secretariat. As part of her work, she has interviewed high-profile artists like Burna Boy, Afro B, and Davido. Close to her heart is an initiative titled Selfie London, an online platform that aims to encourage women to truly see themselves, look beyond the selfie, and understand and appreciate their sense of worth. It was such a great pleasure speaking to Bisi. I mean, she provides incredible wisdom and super down to earth. I mean, such a great conversation, and we covered a lot from Bisi's inspiring journey of confidence and authenticity as she navigates the creative industry. We also talk about the principles of self-image enhanced and how you can apply these principles in your everyday life as a creative or founder. I am honored to bring you this conversation and introduce Bisi Akins. Hello, Bisi. How are you?
Hello, I am blessed. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so excited to have you on here. I mean, wow.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, wow. It's so amazing to have you. And I know a number of our audience actually will already know who you are. We'll be really excited to have you on here. But let me introduce you, because I believe you need this introduction. I mean, you're a global presenter, you're a model, you're a host, you're an influencer, you're a social entrepreneur. You are doing so many amazing things, and it is such a pleasure to have you on here. We usually start off by our guests introducing themselves, but I feel like you don't really need that introduction. But I thought we would start off, doing something fun, because today has been a sunny day. Everybody's mood is up, and hopefully we should have some more sunny days coming through. So I wanted to start a little bit different by asking you to tell us one misconception about you. Because I know a lot of people know things about you, but what is one misconception about you that you may want to debunk?
One misconception. Oh, which one? I said which one? Like, there's many. To be honest, I don't know. People don't really say things about me. Or to be honest, maybe they do, but I don't really tune in to know what they do say. I remember when I was growing up, this is one of the things, because I'm quite smiley. People thought that I was fake. Because they're like, why is she always happy? Why is she always smiling? I don't think they could comprehend that you can literally just be like this. So I think that was one back in the day, but that's changed. I'm genuine, just like this. What else? A misconception: presenting is easy. Or Oh, there was one that I got when I first got my first TV gig. Oh, you got it because you're busy. I'm like, what does that mean? And then I was like, what does that actually mean? Can you explain that to me? And then I was like, oh, well, like you're busy, like you're pretty, like you're this, so obviously you're going to get it. When a lot of work goes into showing the busy that you see, yes, I am blessed. And by a gracious God and highly favored for me to be able to have conversation and have this light and have this star about me. But a light and star with no hard work is just going to be a light and star. So there's a lot of hard work that goes into, creating a name for yourself or trying to create a brand that people can identify with, that people can relate to, and that will prosper you to have a prosperous life. So maybe that I don't work hard enough, but I think
you definitely do. You definitely do. And I think for anyone who kind of is in the creative industry knows the hard work that it takes to even sort of be at the level you are, or any level, to be honest with you, it takes hard work. And another question, because, this platform is all about impact, about, creating a change. What does impact mean to you?
Impact is service. Service is impact. Like, I feel like a life well lived is a life where you can, after you've gone, right, you can see how many people's lives that you've impacted, that they can say, oh, not just that she was a pretty face or that she had a lot of money, but she really sowed seeds into my life that's been able to basically change me, maybe for the better. So it's been able to just impact, when I say impact, I feel like leaving a long-lasting effect that creates positive change. I think that's what impact is. That's what impact is for me. That's what I seek to do, to have impact and service onto others, because we're blessed with this gift called life, right? Yes. But what we make of it is how, see the way Jesus came, right? Just came back in the day, whatever day it was, he just came around and he's impacted the lives of so many of us. We'll be raising his name until the kingdom comes, right? You still want to have a fraction of that. So after you've gone, after we've served our duty of just living this life and this being, and people can be like, I remember Bisi because she told me that I'm able to be the best version of myself. I remember Bisi because I saw her achieve all of this thing and it made me feel like I could do it too. I remember Bisi because her smile just made me smile and that just changed my day. Those are the little seeds of impact that I aim to be, dropping them seeds, like watering them throughout life. So yeah.
Amazing. And you are making that impact. You are dropping those seeds. And yeah, I mean, your energy is infectious. Number one, comes off on the screen. And I've been privileged to actually be in the same room as you as you're presenting. It's so amazing. And you are doing amazing work with Selfie London. I mean, this is sort of going to be the main topic of this conversation, the amazing work you're doing with Selfie. And why did you decide to start this initiative?
So Selfie London is basically an initiative that I started when I felt like there was something that I wanted that I didn't have, right? So Selfie London, Selfie stands for self-image enhance. And what it does is that it teaches young women the importance of how they ought to see themselves by breaking down the fundamental principles of makeup application and relating it directly to the woman's life. So anytime you or I or anybody sits in front of the mirror to apply makeup, let's say, they're not doing it to fit in with the social media pressures they're facing or to apply a fake level of beauty to hide under like all of these masks of insecurity or just to look like what they see on Instagram. They're doing it for the sole purpose of what makeup is for, which is to enhance yourself. But then the question is, when you're enhancing yourself, if you don't know who you are, what are you enhancing? So I wanted to create a concept that advocates the importance of self-worth, self-identity, and self-image to create basically a community of young women that go out every single day in whatever field that they are in, wearing their best selfies, truly seeing themselves for the amazing, so skilled, so beautifully, so blessed, so highly favored individuals that they are, and literally killing it in whatever field that they want to do. Selfie is my heart. It makes me smile just speaking about it, thinking about the impact that it will have, not only for in the UK, but I want it to just impact the lives of young people all over the globe. And I use makeup as a tool, not because I'm advocating everyone wear makeup because, to be honest, most of the time I don't wear makeup.
You've got great skin. You don't need it. But yeah.
Most of the time I don't. But I use it because I feel like makeup is something that everyone can relate to. Even nowadays, guys can relate to it at some level. But women can relate to makeup at one level, at one point in their lives, right? And they tend to go to makeup when they don't feel the best of themselves, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to use a tool that they really, really relate with, and instill substantial principles. So even when you are wearing makeup or when you're not wearing makeup, you can still have your self-worth, your self-identity and self-image with you to be the best version of yourself. And when I did start it, it was a funny story. So I usually have awesome skin. We thank Baba God because yes, I drink water, but genetics comes into play too. I had really great skin growing up. I didn't need anything. It would literally just be my eyebrows maybe done, eyelashes if I'm feeling fancies, and lip gloss so I can be popping. And then I don't know what happened, but in my final year of my undergrad degree, I had this really, really bad burst of acne, like really bad. I didn't look like myself. I didn't feel like myself. This bubbly personality that you see, I literally concaved. Is it convex or concave? I mean, concave. I think it's concave, guys. Sometimes English is not my first language. It is really, but sometimes it's not. I concaved into this little hub where I didn't want to go out. I wasn't myself, I wasn't bubbly, I wasn't personable. And one thing is I didn't want people to see me outside and feel like I was a deception in comparison to my Instagram photographs. And that's when I knew I had lost the plot, because Instagram is literally just a social media app. It's literally just it's just an app. Honestly and truly, it's just an app. But I didn't want to leave the house because I didn't want people to feel like I was a deception in comparison to my Instagram photos. And then during that period, a friend of mine, he committed suicide. And that really shifted so many things for me and put things into perspective, because I was acting out because of sports. And in the grand scheme of life, I'm not saying you can't feel a type of way about sports, because obviously it is your face, it is your body, it is yourself. But in the grand scheme of life, sports are so minuscule compared to people that are dying of this, or people that are suffering in this, or this being in this world war, all of these things. And for me to lose myself completely because of something that was external to me highlighted a problem within my self-worth that I didn't know that I had until that moment in time. I felt like I was super self-assured, that nobody can tell me anything. It's Bisi. Like I felt like I was that good. But sports completely changed that for me. And I felt like if someone like me, who felt like she was self-assured, that she had everything in check, could feel like this because of sports, talk less of the younger girls that don't have any self-identity at all, and are completely lost in the source of social media, what would they now come and do? So I want to create something for myself that reminded me, regardless if I have one spot, no sport, 500 spots, regardless if I have money or I don't have money, regardless if I have a job or I don't have a job, regardless if I have a relationship or I don't have a relationship, I still have me. This Bisi, this self is the most important thing. You have that throughout your life. You're born alone, you die alone. And we tend to neglect ourselves. We put our careers before ourselves. We put our relationships before ourselves. We put so many other things before ourselves. And then when things kind of crumble, then we run back to, I need to self-care, this is when it should be first for us to be our optimum. So I've broken it down like this. Our foundation represents your self-belief. Your eyebrows represent your frame of mind. Your concealer represents the way in which you deal with things. Your contour represents how you chisel your skills. Your highlight represents the law of attraction after you've chiseled those skills. Your eyeshadow represents your personal vision for your life. Your eyelashes represent your personal network. You are the seam and the individual lashes on your network. And your lips represent the things in which you say about yourself. So every single time you're in front of the mirror, you're doing your foundation, your eyebrows, but there is nothing. You'd be like, I've got my self-belief in check, my frame of mind in check. I have my personal vision, my circle around me. They're edifying me to become whatever it is I want for my life. And I'm affirming positivity and light over my life. What else can you be?
You're unstoppable.
Your best version of self.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
honestly.
Yeah.
So that's what selfie is creating a strong community of young women, nice good, that go out every day wearing their best self. You understand? They are the true gems. Like there is nothing that they can't do as long as they have self-worth, their self-identity, and their self-image in check.
Amazing. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. I really like how you break down and portray the principles. I actually, when I found them online, I was like, yes.
Oh, you found them online?
Yes, girl, I did my research.
Where are they? I didn't even know where they're online.
I think it was on a presentation slide that you put on your, I know this seems a bit stalkerish, but this is the work I have to do.
Yes.
It was on your Twitter.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just thought this is so amazing because every morning as you're doing your normal routine, or perhaps not because we're obviously coming out of lockdown, but whenever you're doing this routine is remembering, your frame of mind, how to chisel your skills and much more. And I really love how you are targeting, young ladies, young women, especially secondary school and a little bit older, because I think it's during this time that we begin to kind of form our identities. And at that point, young women are very heavily influenced.
I'm heavily influenced, for sure. Yeah. And right now, the way this world is going, right, the moral standard of society is just going plummeting down the drain. And I find it, I don't know if it's controversial, but I often feel like, how do I describe it? But those who say that they're taking ownership of their kind of sexuality and they're being liberated women by, I don't know, owning. Like I kind of, not that I disagree, right? Okay. I get it, right? However, I feel like there are other ways that you can be liberated that should be celebrated more than the sexuality of the woman. I get that as a woman, you have been sexualized from before you were even born, right? I get it, because obviously, look at women, we're awesome. Like, who wouldn't want to just look at us and be like, you've got this, you've got that, and you're fine, and you're smart. I get it, but there's so much more to us than that. And I sometimes feel like it's kind of backwards the way oppressed people think. They feel like the way in which they can get ownership or they can no longer be oppressed. This is like really blanket, right? But the way they can no longer be oppressed is if they take back what was used to oppress them.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I feel like there are other ways you can show your oppressor that you no longer deserve to be oppressed, or that you was never deserving of oppression if you show them other things, right? So as women, we've always been sexualized. Us taking back our sexuality and be like, yeah, I'm going to be a sexy again because I can, you're still kind of feeding into that male gaze, because they're still going to look at you and be like, oh my gosh, she's sexy. But if you now combat them in the places that they occupy and that is used for them to be like the men, or let's say if it's men against women, in finance, in business, in economics, in politics, and you combat them in those stages, that's when you're challenging them. That's when you're showing them that you're on par. But when you're using something that's going to even just please them to their eye anyway, they're like, yeah, go on, be liberated. I'm just going to watch, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's each to their own. But I think especially in this time, women are doing amazing things. And it's so grateful to be able to be in this era that, women are, CEOs, are able to do amazing things, including you, like achieve amazing things and be a true guide and influence and
100%.
Amazing. And you speak a lot about confidence, self-worth in your role as a presenter, as a model, as so many amazing things. I mean, I would like to know, what is your source of confidence? I know you've done a lot of work on yourself, obviously, to be able to have this platform, but what is your source of confidence and how do you build on this, especially for our young listeners, not only women but just creatives in general?
Self-confidence, it takes some time to get. I feel like this whole journey of self is ongoing. So don't feel like you're going to do the principles 3 days, 4 days, and you've got it. At every stage in your life, you're still on this journey of self. You're always seeing yourself for the first time. Like, you're always evolving. So please understand that self-confidence, it takes time. It takes intentional activities, I guess. For me personally, what kind of helped me? One, I'm very strong on my faith, right? And I built my identity in Christ. Like I know that God has blessed me, and He wouldn't want anything bad for me. So He's blessed me with all of these things. So if I don't own it, who else is going to own it? And that gives me a kind of confidence because God has poured all of this stuff into me for the world to see. So of course, let me show it. Let me just do it. Practice also, because there are times where sometimes I step into some rooms and I'm like, all right, so this person is a bit more experienced. They have a few more years on me. And then when I get to that stage, I'm feeling uneasy. I still fall back onto the faith that I have, that God has blessed me with all of these things. I'd be like, no, obviously you got this because God's got you. Like, honestly, like, you won't be in this room if you weren't meant to be in this room. And I think also confidence in myself, because I remembered when I felt like I wasn't confident. It was when I was looking outside of myself, when I was comparing myself to other people in the room. Listen, I use that example. But if you think about it really and truly, yes, there are other people in the room, but there is nobody like you in that room. And you have confidence in that. When you're looking outside of yourself, that's when you can be dismayed, because you be like, oh, this person may have one up. Or if I'm comparing the years that they have, then I'm going to feel inadequate. But when you just focus on, all right, so I'm in this room for a reason. I prepared myself to be in this room. I've done the practice. I'm going to do what I have to do, regardless of what Tom or Ham, I said Ham, Tom or Harry. Or whoever, regardless of what they do, I'm going to do me and be confident in that. But it does take a lot of practice, and it doesn't happen overnight. But when you have like the fundamental, like your foundation is so important.
Yep.
That self-belief is so important, because it literally ripples onto everything else. That's why I speak so heavily on foundation and not being built on faulty foundations. It's so important. And my foundation is really in faith. And it could be whatever the listener, whoever's listening, it could be whatever it is that you want, but it needs to be something that withstands time, something that's so consistent. Like, as humans, we're fleeting. We have emotions. We are emotional beings. They're there for a reason. There's nothing wrong with it. But we need to have faith. Our foundation is something that is not fleeting. So when we are in our moments of fleet, or when we're in our fleeting moments, we can run back to this backbone that is going to be strong and sturdy. And I don't think that should be in a human, other than yourself or, what you believe. But yeah, that's what helps me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for giving us that advice. Just going back to sort of your role in the creative industry, you mentioned quite a lot of pressures that you may face or feel in the industry. So you've mentioned how you combat that pressure, but I want to ask about women who inspired you, especially in the industry. Are there any women who inspire you, and have there been any women who challenged you to actually push to be better and to fully walk in your true self and not be influenced or be pressured by what's going on around?
I definitely feel like outside of the creative industry, the woman that pushes me the most is my mom. She doesn't push me like pushing me, but just seeing how hard she has worked to even give me the opportunity to be in this land and have what I have. And she still goes out there. She's still working. It just pushes me so much to be the best that I can be, so she can really reap the rewards of all of the seeds that she sowed. Like, I want to look after that woman so much, yeah. Every time I think about it, like, I want to cry, because she's tried so much as a single parent. I know everybody's mom is like so dear to their heart, and moms are the best, but I just see the way my mom is, right? The resilience in that woman, the strength in that woman, it's like she's a superhuman. Like, if I had to do what she had to do, right, I don't even know if I'll be able to do it. If you think about it, like, it's actually crazy when we think about what our parents had to endure to give us this step ahead. And then there are a lot of women in the industry. I feel like I used to look at Angelica Bell when I was younger on TV, and I was just like, oh, she's dope. And then I used to look at June Pong, and I'm like, oh, she's super sick. And then I would look at Clara Amphor, not that I want to get into radio or anything, right? And I said, oh gosh, this woman, like, she's doing all these premieres, she's got this residency show, she's really she was with Barbie. She got her own freaking Barbie doll. Like, what the hell? Like, who does that? Like, how would you, they even gave her like the heart shape and the dreads. I'm like, in fact, round of applause. And then of course you listen to the Oprahs, you listen to the Maya Angelos, and Oprah and Maya Angelou especially, because they just really like, they want you to be your best self and they want you to be that unapologetically. I love Ellen too, because she's really just authentically herself, quirky, funny. She doesn't really care about too many things. Like, it's just, she's just an embodiment of who she is. And I just love that. I feel like I take a lot from a lot of different women, a lot of different people in general. Like, there's always something you can take, always something that you can see. Even if it's a negative thing, you can learn from that and be like, yeah, I don't want that for myself, you see. But yeah, there are quite a few, just to throw those out.
Thank you so much. And now I guess we'll go back to the principles that you mentioned for selfie. I think it's really important to actually break that down. And for some, creatives or founders who listen to this that may not be women and may not be able to understand, the concept in terms of makeup. But I think there are a lot of key things we can pick from those principles. For instance, concealer, you mentioned the way you deal with things. What is your advice for dealing with rejection? Because I know in the industry that you're in as a creative, rejection will happen.
Rejection is like tap water. It will just come.
I mean, what is your advice for dealing with this as women, as creatives, as founders, as business owners? This is something that we deal with. What is your advice for this?
This is one that took me, I'm still even learning it. Honestly, if I'm being dead ass honest, I'm still even trying to train my mind to be accepting of rejection and the ways in which I'm practicing that, because it really used to irk me. I'm like, bro, like, I'm sick. Like, why are you rejecting me, man? It really used to irk me so much. But now I feel like rejection, it just really may not be for you. One, I really trust and believe that what's for me will come to me and it will manifest when it needs to manifest. So with me trusting the process, with me trusting that what's for me will come to me, that allows me to not get so emotionally attached to things that aren't yet mine, right? And when the rejection does happen, it may just be like, all right, so I wanted this, but God doesn't want this for me. I just need to redirect my steps to somewhere else. But it's a lot easier said than done. And it does sound really cliche, rejection is redirection, or trust the process, or what's yours will be yours. But as cliche as it sounds, when you really do believe it to be true, there's a sense of peace that comes when things that you may have wanted do not come your way, because if it didn't come your way, you've done whatever you need to do, and maybe it may not just be for you, and that's okay. And when you understand that, or when you try to understand that, the peace that comes with it is like, all right, cool, on to the next. And rejection, it really builds so much resilience, because we're lying. In this presenting thing, right, the amount of no's or the amount of pictures I've done, even till now, like, you see me, you may feel like I'm doing sick. There's so much more that I want to be doing. That I was having a conversation this morning. I was just like, no, but why don't people, like, why haven't I yet got my consistent TV gig? Why have I not had that break yet? Like, I've been doing this. Like, I'm personable. I can communicate. I can make people feel comfortable. There's that authenticity. You can see, you can relate to me.
Yeah, I can relate.
Why are they waiting for me to be this household name? Or why are they not giving me the opportunity to be at the front? Why are they giving it to other people that just have it because they're numbers? Can they not see the substance that's in me? I still have these conversations. I had it this morning. It still irks me. But with that, I'm practicing what I'm teaching. I'm practicing that when is my time will be my time, as long as I know that I'm doing what I need to do and I'm doing it authentically and putting all of my hard work in it. When it's my time to go, like, no one can say anything. So if you don't see me now, baby boy, baby girl, you'll see me. Well,
definitely.
My name is Bisi Akins.
Yes.
All over the nations for greatness. And you will see it. And I just basically do that.
Amazing. Thank you. And on the flip side of that, how do you actually deal with success? Because I think sometimes we hear about dealing with rejection, but how do you deal with success? I think it's very important to know that, because sometimes people can crumble under success, if
Yeah.
they're not. So, I mean, what is your advice for that? Because you are successful. Forget about everything that obviously not forget, but, obviously you have dreams, you want to get to a certain level, but how do you deal with the success, the, people knowing your name, the pressure, all that?
I think the first time I encountered quote, quote, success was when I won Miss Nigeria UK, right? So I won the pageant, and this is when I was like 20 years old, right? I won it when I was 20 years old. And then I went back to uni. So I don't know, Twitter wasn't Twitter now, right? This was some time ago. And I had got better retweets. Oh my gosh, she's this, and that. And I went back to uni, and there's, oh, you're Miss Nigeria. You're Miss Nigeria. I'm like, am I not the same Bisi that was there before, right? And then I was having conversations with people, and it's like, I didn't expect you to be so down to earth. I didn't expect you to be, and what else did you expect me to be? And I feel like with me, the one thing that has enabled me to kind of deal with success that I don't think I've even achieved yet is just authentically being myself.
Yeah.
Like when people come at me, like I don't act like I'm any different to anybody. And I feel like when you just act like yourself, the self that you were before any accolade, before any accomplishment, not only does it make the people around you feel like, wow, like she's actually just like me, like she's really just like me. You also just like realize that you're still human, and all of these accolades can go in an instant. So if you act out because you've got this and that, when it's gone, then what happens?
Exactly.
But I also implore people to not shy away from basking in the success that they have. Like when I say basking, not like gloating or holding on to that moment, but appreciating the fact that you've worked hard and you've achieved something, so celebrate that. Don't be like, there was a time where I was just like, all right, I've done this, what's next? I've done this, what's next? I've done this, what's next? And I wasn't really appreciating the moment that I was in and taking it in. And then sometimes I'll be like, oh, swear down, I did this and this and that. And you don't really live that moment because you're so on to the next. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays do that, but it's important that you take the time to appreciate that you've achieved this thing, but don't lay in it too much because obviously you do have to move on.
Amazing. Okay, so another principle that you mentioned is the eyeshadow, which kind of embodies personal vision. And you've spoken about a little bit about your personal vision and where you want to get to. And I actually wanted to ask about the future. So the next few questions will be about the future. If you can let us in, you don't have to tell us everything, but let us in into something else that you want to do that you're not doing now. So for instance, is there another part of the industry that you want to go into that you currently are not in at the moment?
I want to have my own show.
Okay.
I will have my own show.
Yes.
And then I also want to be able to just like produce shows. Like, I think that would be really good. Just create opportunities for other people, because I feel like it's just so hard to get in. It's just so hard to get in. So I want to, once I'm in, like proper in, I want to be able to create avenues for people to get in. That's a lot more, just more straightforward. That isn't so clout based and so clout chased. It's literally just talent based and substance based. I feel like that's how it should be, but I understand the industry is a bit just like superficial. So it's just, I just want to be able to create that. I mean, I also want to speak on personal vision, because it's okay to not know what you want to do in this life, right? I feel like there's a lot of pressure on young people. You need to know this, you need to know this, you need to achieve this. And personal vision one, I had like a weird relationship with it, because at one point I wanted to be a doctor and save the world. And then I wanted to be a GP practice, have my own GP practice. And then at one point I wanted to be a clinical psychologist specializing in child development. So there are different stages in my life that I wanted to be, different aspirations that I saw Bisi at, right? Until I now became into the presenting, right? But one thing that was sure to me in that personal vision, whatever it is that I wanted to be the best version of myself, and I wanted to put my best into it. So I didn't do a disservice to the gifts I have or the blessings I have. So I didn't do a disservice to myself. So in whatever avenue that I was pursuing, whether it be the doctorate, my GCSEs, almost 4 A stars, 4 A's and 2 B's. I got it. When it came to psychology, I had to get my psychology degree. Like everything that I needed to do to achieve that vision, whatever it was at that time, I did it. So I feel like even if you're not sure what you need to do, just know that whatever it is that you do, you do it to the best of your ability. And that's what should always be in your mind. I definitely wanted to say that because your vision can change. You may not know. People always think that we take each day as it comes, and it's okay to not know. But just know that whatever it is that you do lay your hands upon, do it to the best of your ability so you know you're not doing a disservice to yourself and the gifts that you've been blessed with.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And then we're just going to speak about impact before we round up. I think it's very important that we come to this again. You are influential. And I just wanted to go back to the topic of impact because I think it's very important that we kind of think about our influence and our impact as creatives in whatever role we're in. But what do you believe could be improved in the industry that you're currently in, and why, in terms of maybe just one thing, because I know there could be a lot of things.
I think one thing that I struggled with is that there's no blueprint.
Okay.
You know, when you want to be a doctor, you know, there's this path that you take. When you want to be I don't know, a psychologist, there's this exam that you do, or a HR person, you do your CIPD. When you want to do project management, you do, I don't know, there's this thing that you do. There's things that you do. There's like a blueprint. In the creative scene, right? It's literally try and go. Just be trying. And I feel like that causes a lot of stress on the person because it is a career path. So why doesn't the career path have a structure? Like, you know, you go to uni, you get a degree and you do this because there's a structure to become this thing. People are presenters. That's a job. People are creatives or videographers or whatever. They're jobs, but there's no blueprint. Like there's no do this, and you can progress that way. It's literally just, not by chance, but you literally just put it out there and it will happen. Just keep going and it will happen. It's really like, there's no stability, there's no structure. It's literally just how, and that really stressed me out. It stressed me out so much. So I think that should be improved. I think that should be improved for sure. Not saying you should go and take an exam to be a presenter.
Exactly, but
an order of steps that it isn't like, oh, you have to know this person, maybe start as a runner or start as this. No, there should be a way that people can follow and aspire to get into this career. If you listen to like people, they'll be like, oh, I was a runner and then I just got in front. Or I was on community radio and then it got picked up. It's just by chance. And I don't like that. That instability is very strenuous to the being.
But I think there's something about your experience, your past experience, that can actually serve useful in the future and whatever you fall into. I think there's something to do about that. But I think it is useful to have structure. And perhaps that structure can also come in the form of mentors, actually seeking out mentors and ensuring that they are mentors in the industry who are there to actually pull people up rather than take advantage of them or whatever else goes on, but ensuring that they have really good mentors in the industry and having that structure, perhaps that mentoring structure in place, that could be something that could be improved. Yeah,
most definitely.
Okay, and so what impact would you like to continue making as a presenter and with Selfie and your other projects?
As a presenter, I want to be able to create a space where everyday people can have their voices and they can relate to it. We can speak about issues that affect them at home, but then also show them a side to the celebrities that you don't usually see. And it doesn't need to be music, it could be anybody really. But then I also want to be that bridge between Africa and the UK. Because everyone's looking at Africa and we've been sick. We've done been sick. And we've done, like, if you're only shining your eye, you're late, you're very, very late. But be that bridge between everything Africa, whether that be music, fashion, culture, be that bridge, because I'm very African, but I'm also quite Western too, because I was born and raised here. And that is authentically in me. And I don't think there's anybody out there that does it like that or can do it like that. So I want to be that bridge where I really and truly just love being African. There's nothing cooler than being an African babe, Nigerian specifically. So I definitely want to be that bridge. And with regards to Selfie, I want that to become a household name where women all over the world can really go out understanding who they are, wearing their best selfies, knowing their self-worth, their self-identity, their self-image, and bossing in whatever field that they're in. Like, I don't want them to feel like they don't know who they are. And I feel like as women, because we change so much over the years, our bodies go through so much transformation, whether that be in puberty, whether that just be going through acne, whether that be, I don't know, you have kids and your body changes, whatever that is, when you become a husband and when you become a wife, or when you do all of these things, right? Your identity is always changing. You're always something. And it's very easy for us to lose ourselves in whatever it is. And I don't want that. I want women to, regardless of if you're a wife, if you're a mother, if you've put on weight, if your hips have changed, if your boobs have sagged, if you're going through, regardless of whatever it is, if you now become a boss CEO and you're the first woman to do it, and you have to carry that weight too, you still know yourself and can truly see yourself how blessed and highly favored you are. Like I envision selfie spaces, selfie summits, selfie makeup. I envision all of it. Not just in the UK, but in Africa, in the States, wherever. Just a community of women every day wearing their best selfies. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Definitely. And I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that. Amazing. Can you let us know if there's going to be, I don't know if it's planned yet, any events, or how people can connect with Selfie, or anything we should look forward to?
Okay, so with Selfie, please do follow us at Selfie London. We should be at Selfie London on YouTube too. Follow me at Bisi Akins. We don't really have any shows. Obviously, we're now just easing out of lockdown, so we have to scope the outside place. We have to scope it and see what's going to happen, but we are continuously putting out inspirational content on our Instagrams. I do intend to do some lives just to communicate with different people different ways and get to know themselves. And with Bisi, just please be praying for me, because I need to get this show. Okay? Your girl Bisi needs to be out here hosting the freaking all of these awards, just being that babe when the Wiz and the Burners and all of these people come through.
Definitely, you already are.
It's Bisi, me, okay? Just pray for blessings and favor over that too.
One last question, because you have so much wisdom and experience. What advice would you give to a creative or a woman, whoever it is that is just starting out in the creative industry?
I would say, and you may not like to hear this, but take time. Don't rush. There's always this, it's like we're non-stop, we're always on the go. Always on the go. And it's really important that you take time, you formulate your concepts, and you trust the process. Of course, work very hard and be intentional about the steps that you make. Be intentional about the things that you do. However, don't expect it to happen like this. We live in a microwave society. I got this house at 21. I've got this 6-figure business in 6 months. I've done this. And it's fair and well if they've done it. That's great for them. But just because they've done that and you haven't doesn't make you any less. Doesn't mean your journey isn't as important or as substantial. Literally, take time. Lean on God or whatever you believe in. Trust the process and believe in yourself. Because even me, you will see me, you'll be like, Bisi, she's done this. I'm still trusting the process. I really am, and I'm practicing that every single day. And if you get to know that from early, you have peace. Like your peace is so important. Because when you're unsettled and you're anxious and you can't be your best version. So whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you set out to do, take time with it. Trust the process, lean on God, and don't compare. Don't compare to left, right, or center. Focus on yourself. What's for you will come to you, and it will happen when it's meant to happen.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you so much, Bisi. I mean, you have just given us a wealth of information. You've been honest, you've been relatable, you've been inspiring, and it's been such a pleasure to have you on here. Thank you so much, Bisi.
Thank
And
you so
cannot
much.
wait for all the amazing things you'll do with Selfie. I cannot wait to see you on the stage, affirmation, interviewing you, whatever it be. I cannot wait to see you flourish. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Well done to you too.
What an amazing conversation. Wow, wow, wow. And even more amazing Bisi being so honest and transparent with us and dropping some incredible words of wisdom. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it and you have been inspired. As always, your support has been incredible, and you can continue to support us by subscribing, sharing, and liking our posts, or even leaving a review for us on Apple Podcasts. That would be much appreciated. As always, you can connect with us through our socials on Instagram at Creatives in Focus, on Twitter at Creatives in Focus. And if you have any suggestions for topics, or if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, please email us at creativesinfocus@gmail.com. Until next time, influence change and create for impact.